Bro, that's off the rip.
I said it in the last one, dude. Every time you're about to do it, you're just like,
Yeah.
here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
Okay.
What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the Off the Rip podcast. I am your co-host, Bailey Berry.
I'm your co-host, Tucker Hall.
And today, we have a very special guest. He is my brother from another father. He is the 18-year-old filmmaker. My brother, my oldest, younger brother, JD Winegar. What's up, dude?
What up?
Glad to have you on here.
Welcome to the
Tucker,
pod.
thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course, dude.
Yeah.
But before we get into JD, there's some things we would like to shout out before we get started.
For sure. On our last podcast, our subscriptions per view was through the roof compared to what we've had in the past.
Oh, yeah.
Like we said in the last one, we get a ton of views on our videos. A ton of views for us. I mean, just starting out,
Yeah.
and the subscription per views probably doubled, if not tripled, from last video to this one.
Mhm.
So just make sure if you enjoy this content, you love watching our podcast, supporting the boys, go down, give us a little subscribe down at the bottom, we also, one of our buddies, Peyton Laughlin, is starting his own YouTube channel. Go check him out over at the Fantasy Forecast. He's going to be covering all fantasy football. If I'm not mistaken, he's doing his own in-house algorithm. So you get to see how that algorithm he's created is going to play out throughout the season, how successful he is with it. Go out there, get some tips and tricks on your fantasy football league, and kick some ass with the help of Manga the Maniac.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go. All right, well, let's get right into it. So, this is JD, my younger brother. He is the most talented 18-year-old that I know. I was not nearly as talented at 18 as he is right now. I'm super proud of him, but he is making a feature-length film. I have seen this. He has spent so much more money than I ever even thought about having at 18. He worked 2 jobs. He saved up $6,000 to buy full film equipment to make a movie, like a legit movie. So if you would like to introduce yourself or give us just a little idea, name of the movie, whatever, you just go.
Well, the movie I'm working on is called Teenage Angst. A movie I felt like I wanted to make while I was young and in high school and going through that so-called teenage angst. And I just saw like kind of an opportunity to make a film, not super low budget, super indie, but about something that I was very much living through in the time, you know. And I just saw an opportunity as a start, as a learning process. So, and I think it's been going very well.
Yeah.
And
Good.
just very soon it'll be out. But yeah, I'm still working.
Good.
But yeah.
Cool. I mean, aside from that, not only do we obviously have a clear relationship, but you and Tucker have known each other for a long time too.
Yeah.
I mean, with me and you being as friends as young as we were,
Mm-hmm.
JD's soon after that.
Yeah.
I mean, you're the same age as Bella, my youngest little sister.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I've watched this kid grow up.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
been long.
from the time he was running around with Puppy the blanket, dude.
Oh,
You know what I
Oh
mean?
my
Like,
gosh,
yeah.
like not to out you or nothing, bro,
Yeah.
but yeah, dude, I remember you.
Yeah.
It was me and Bailey coming to stay the night at your house, JD coming in there, me and you playing video games, JD trying to hang out with us, but you're always like, JD, get out, being that older brother.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, it's been awesome watching you grow up and mature as a young man, and I mean, obviously, me and Bailey are 25. We're still not there, but you're doing a hell of a job. You're light years ahead of where I was with a mindset towards
same.
life.
I appreciate
You know,
it.
I mean,
really
especially with this movie too. Like thinking at 18 that you can apply yourself, be consistent enough, and like have the dedication and will to actually go film a movie, stick with it this long, and fully produce it just by yourself. By the way, as is commendable for sure.
Absolutely.
And it's really dope that you're doing that. So like, I guess like one of my first questions would be, where does your creativity, because like before the movie, you were kind of doing music and stuff like that.
Yes.
So like Bailey would show me some snippets and stuff, and like it was good.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't just like, oh, this kid likes to play the piano, or, you know,
Yeah.
but it was like actually like this sounds really freaking good.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
where do you think that creativity stems from? Like where do you find that creative juice to do these types of things?
I mean, I think inspiration, of course. Like,
Yeah.
I don't really know. I mean, I think in terms of movies, I remember just like my earliest members of just coming into life was just like sitting there on the couch with my dad watching James Bond or watching like Spider-Man and stuff, and always like, I remember seeing y'all do your thing, and I was out there in the backyard just pretending I was like James Bond on the playground and just messing around and stuff like that. So I think as I grew up, you know, a lot of kids kind of forget that idea of like pretending and thinking of like, ooh, this would be cool. And, you know, I think I kind of tried my best to keep that, and that's why I felt there was a good way to differentiate myself was to, you know, go to music and go to putting something in a frame. And I mean, yeah, really, and just
I see what you're saying is kids, as they grow older and mature, like life happens and they tend to lose that imagination and that kid spirit that they used to have. I think it's very important to keep that.
Very true.
And I'm glad you have that mindset this young.
Dude,
Because if you keep that throughout your life, dude, I promise you are never gonna be bored. You're always gonna find ways to make your life better or happier. You know, so.
That's
for sure. I feel like I haven't adopted that mindset up until the past year and a half. Whenever I was like, I'm gonna start a YouTube channel, like, geez, I'm like, what is working a job every single day just to make enough money to buy a house, buy a car, and then live happily ever after? Yes, I'm in such love with my wife, and I'm not saying I'm too good for any of that. But it's like, I'm gonna go crazy if I just do this one thing every single day. You gotta have a hobby. You gotta have some sort of outlet. And for me, creating something is so, and I know you feel the same way. I know you do too. Creating something is just like, oh my gosh, I made this. I put the time in here, and it's like, holy cow. And then you start seeing it pay off. You know what I mean? Creating something, I think, is so beautiful, and the fact that you've started that at the age you're at, dude, I couldn't commend you enough. And I'm such a proud older brother.
I appreciate it.
Of course.
Yeah, being able to make something that just you're proud of, or not even if it's like, you know, it's not nearly as good as what everybody else is doing, but just even starting something, just trying it and putting it together and being like, man, this is really good, and, you know, just being proud of yourself and seeing yourself in that light is very good, and wanting to get that out to other people, I think, is very important.
And I also think, too, like, with what you said is, like, it might not be as good as other people, to be honest with you. I think what you're doing is better than other people, because if you think about it, like, kids taking the traditional college route, going to get a 9-to-5, running the rat race, that path is very well taken. It's very well cut and easy to walk down. You are taking a route that's not very well traveled. It's dangerous, it's got pitfalls, but you're looking at it like you're staring it straight in the face and walking it down, and that's super commendable. I honestly think you're doing the better route.
Well,
I think taking the path less traveled is always way more fulfilling. Whether or not it works out or not, you can still sit back at the end of the day and be like, well, you know what, at least I tried. I had one shot at this in life, and I took it, you know, without even second guessing it. So hats off to that.
And you're in that, I don't want to call it a guinea pig stage, but you're in that stage to where you're still good. You don't have anybody else to provide for. Like, you have, I'm not going to say anything's holding you back, but you're not in a serious relationship.
No.
You don't have rent. Like, I was not in that stage at your age. So it's like, and I'm still figuring stuff out at 25. The fact that you have at least 7 years to do whatever you want, dude, like, the opportunities are endless. And not only is it 7 years, because I don't even view my own life that way. I see myself in 10 years from now, when I'm 35, I'm still young, dude. I'm still young. I'm still like 10 years younger than my parents, dude. You know what I mean? And they're young.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, at 35, worst case scenario, your life's only half over.
Exactly.
You got
Worst
another
case
30
scenario.
Yeah, worst case scenario, you got another 35 to go.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, exactly, dude. I mean, I can't stress that point enough. And I can't stress that point enough for the viewer. If any of you have any aspiration or goal or any dream that you want to go for, like, just flip that script. Instead of saying one day, flip it, dude. Day one. You know what I'm saying? Start small. Like, and then it's the same thing that we've talked about for fitness. Like, you just got to start where you can. And like we've all found that out in many avenues of our own life, and I'm sure we know that you all have too. But just go for it, man, because it's not gonna come for you. You got to go for it, and the fulfillment, even with starting a small podcast, dude, it's such a great feeling to sit down here and have conversations like this. And then that's the same thing with whatever you all as the viewer want to do. Just do it. You know what I mean?
Boy, that fired me up.
Yeah, dude.
That fired me up.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like we've reiterated time and time again here, like what you're doing is super commendable, and you know, we're hyped for it, dude. And I'm super excited for this movie to drop. But
Me too.
I guess for the people at home that had no idea that, you know, this is a thing.
Yeah.
That's another reason we want to have you on here. Is this is even more exposure.
Yeah.
I mean, the little following that we do have, but I mean, still, it's nice to get it out there. But so Teenage Angst is the name of the movie.
Yes.
That's what you said. What is it about? Like, can you give us sort of like, if I was to look at Teenage Angst, the DVD cover, and flip it over and read the summary?
Yeah. Okay.
Give me that.
Okay.
Dude, I love that.
Once upon a time, no. So, the best way I've been able to say it in just kind of like a short phrase was just like, at a young age, like, I feel like there's such a, especially like writing the script and filming like through my later years in high school, and seeing so much of like the idea of wanting to have attention, the idea of like wanting to be liked. There's not, there's so much of like a race in that young time period, and I think the idea to be cool, to have the most likes and all this and that, and there's so much of a race in that in high school especially, and especially in this generation with like cell phones and social media, and just what that does to people, especially at a young age. There's always a need for approval, and I think I made a film about a character very much living in that process, and learning and just truly finding what is your importance in life. Who do you have to be here for? What are you here for? And knowing that a lot of that approval does not matter, and just kind of making a film around that while living in that. Still, feeling that myself at a young age, seeing it, and then trying to like manifest a reasonable, very good message out of it through this film. And so that's, and I was, I try to make a very honest film to that. There's, there's very many ways kids will, or different things kids will do to kind of like have that feeling of like what it means to be cool and approval.
Like seek validation
exactly.
in the wrong places.
Exactly, in the wrong places. That's a great way to put that. And just trying to make an honest film. Like, you got like shows like Euphoria that's like that same thing, but it's like, glorifying drama and drugs and and all these things. And I just try to make an honest approach to that, and how it really makes you feel and what you really need to gain from it. So that's kind of, what I thought about while making this, for sure.
Not only is this your first debut film,
that's true,
but this is your also first debut film as you debuting as an actor.
Yeah, well, I didn't really think about that.
You know, you are the main character of that movie.
Yeah.
That's a lot of pressure to put on yourself. You know what I mean? And from what I've seen, dude, you're killing it.
Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, this is a one-man band for sure.
For real.
I mean, obviously, I know you've had help.
Yeah.
I know Bailey filming some episodes or scenes with you and stuff, and I think you have a couple of your friends in there as well.
Yeah,
right? There's a couple of scenes of you and your friends.
Decent amount of my friends, and had a lot of people that, like, I had broadcasting class with my friends, Zeke and Josh. They helped a lot with just setting up the camera, lighting, holding the mic, and Bailey held the gimbal a lot of the time. So it was I had a lot of help, for sure. But expressing that to them was definitely definitely a task, but
Mm-hmm.
it's just part of it, and you love doing it once you go through it so many times. You get a take that you're just sitting there like, whew, that looks like a movie. You know, so it's a good feeling. That's it for sure.
Yeah, dude. And then like the times I've helped you film, and you're just sitting there, and we'll shoot a take like 7 times just to get the right shot. And I'm like, this. I mean,
just to make it right, just to make it exactly how you want it.
Exactly, dude. And it's like that's so sick just to see you in that mindset too, like of like you're like, dude, this is my passion project. I know that this is a low budget film. I know that I'm giving limited tools, but I want this to be the best I can be. And me and him actually had a conversation the other night. And if you want to pick up any point when I'm talking about this, but He set a release date for August 9th.
Yeah.
Which is and
that
then you
was
moved
yesterday.
it, and that was yesterday.
Yeah.
And then you moved it back to August 11th, which is tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I was like, I don't know, man, that's a lot of pressure to put a release date on it whenever you don't have some $1 billion budget and you have 1,005 people working for you.
Yeah.
I'm like, you are the only one. And this is like an older brother talking to a young brother. But I'm like, you are the only one putting that pressure on yourself. Everybody that is interested in this movie is going to watch it whenever it comes out. Even if it came out 2 years from now. You know what I mean? They're just there to support you, and you have a lot of good people around you.
Yeah.
But, like, you definitely... And I know that you want this film to be as perfect as it can be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I definitely... Me and him had a conversation last night, and it was just like... Let's let's relax and be like, look, it's all good. This can come out whenever it's meant to come out, and it not spend a whole year filming and editing every day, and then just because you put out a release date, the second half of the movie is like, what the heck is this? It's rushed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like this was just compiled together. You know what I mean?
And I had that realization big time. I was like, I could finish this movie. It isn't going to pace very well, but. Yeah, you definitely got to respect your limitations. You're trying. I mean, at least with how I went about it, under a budget and stuff. Like, you definitely got to respect those limitations, and like write a script around that. And especially in the editing process, it's like, you already have to know coming in. You're not going to be able to whip up like a scene you would see in Hollywood or whatever. Exactly. But you got to also like think about, but what would work for the low budget? What would work? Yeah. And I was like, and I think a big amount of it is like, I can't wait for my friends to see it. Exactly. School's starting back. A lot of my friends will be gone, and
of course.
And so there's like a big like, yo, let's all get in here and watch this movie. But I think I was just like, I'm just gonna have to take some time and whatnot. But yeah, no, it happens. Delays happen.
Yeah.
No, and there's no rush on that,
right.
especially with something like that you've dedicated yourself to and put so much time and effort into.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't be doing yourself or your efforts any justice by rushing that process and making something that you've worked so hard for not what you want.
Very
exactly.
True.
You know what I mean? Take your time with that and definitely polish it to the point to where you're like, you can take a step back and be like, that's it. You know what I mean?
Very true. Very true. And
there's no rush, but I get what you're saying with like your friends and everything and wanting to share that. I totally understand that.
That's right.
But at the same time, like when it drops, like those are your boys. They're gonna watch it regardless.
Exactly.
Whether they're like 20 minutes up the road at ETSU or if they're like 4 hours away in some other state at college, like they're still gonna tune in and watch that.
Exactly. And just like having Bailey talk to me like, look, bro, you're the only one putting this pressure on yourself. Like, just take it easy, man. You got time, and more time will inevitably make the film better, and that's what you want out of everything the most. You want it to be the best you can make it regardless. So just kind of realizing that and being like, yeah, I'm not making this for a deadline. I'm making this for me. Like, that's why I already went through this whole process of writing, getting equipment, filming, and just for it to like kind of all come part of the editing process was definitely not what I wanted.
Yeah.
Sure. But I mean,
So with all those processes and all the different steps that to be honest with you, I would have no idea where to start making a movie. I guess I would start with writing.
Yeah.
Maybe not even writing the script, but more so just like writing down ideas and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's exactly how it starts.
But other than that, like out of all the processes and I guess, things that you've had to do for the movie, what has been the most difficult and or challenging for you?
I mean, the script writing process never really ends until you're done with the movie. Because it's like you'll write a script and you'll perfect it like 1,000 times. But even like in the middle of like shooting, you'll be like, that scene doesn't work. Let me rewrite it in the middle of shooting. And sometimes you just kind of like improvise along the way. So, I mean, filming's definitely like the most like, it takes more out of you, especially if you're like going to a location. You have to have like people be there in the same outfits that they were in last time, and then and then like sometimes you're worried about haircuts, so I'll be like, so when you get a haircut, and they'll be like tomorrow, I'll be like, wait just a second, you know, stuff like that. It's a lot of stuff you don't think about that. You don't really think about that. So you just kind of like have to. I mean, dude, the hair in the movie, especially my hair, it's sometimes like you can kind of tell. It's not really noticeable. Yeah. But just certain things like that, like you gotta take into consideration and whatnot. But filming probably has been the hardest. But like the script writing process is definitely something you're always thinking about. You're always thinking about, what can I do for this scene? How can I make it better? Do I really need this? Oh, I should add this type stuff. So it's like, that never really ends.
Just kind of like the constant maintenance.
Yeah,
throughout
constant
the
maintenance.
entire thing.
And then there's like those scenes you wrote that's like you don't want to change a thing, you know?
Yeah.
There's those scenes like, that's like a for sure scene that needs to happen. And I'll tweak it here and there, but like that's pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
So it's always just adjusting and just looking over it, I guess. That's the hardest part. It's just making sure everything's fine when.
I didn't even think about the haircuts or
dude.
the outfits.
And the outfits, dude, same thing.
But then going back and watching the movie, I would be the first person to be like, why was his shirt blue and now it's red? Homie had a beard in the last scene. It's only been a day and a half, and now it's gone. Just like.
Dude, that's so accurate.
I didn't even think about that. That's crazy.
I know, dude, it is crazy, and that's just a little small thing.
Yeah.
And dude, I remember. I mean, this is a different change of pace, but I remember like a year ago, whenever you were like in the process of buying all this equipment, it was like one thing after another. You'd be like, okay, I'm gonna buy some lighting this paycheck. The next paycheck, I'm gonna save up 3 times and buy the camera. Then you're like, okay, then I'm gonna buy the microphone. Then you're gonna buy this, and it's like I was like, okay, he's taking it serious. But whenever I was like, okay, this fool's really real, is when he came to me and he had it printed off, paper, flip, and he handed me the script, and I'm like, dude. This is crazy. I was like, he's going in. I was like, he's there's no turning back. He's for real doing this, and I was like, holy cow, dude, this is awesome.
He's no longer in the kiddie side of the pool. He went to the deep end.
Exactly, dude. He's in the deep end, just chilling at the bottom.
Right in the movie at the bottom. The deep end. Yeah, no.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, I know I'm your brother, but me and Tucker can both vouch for your love of movies at a young age. Like, me, Tucker, and your dad have pictures of us in a photo booth at the mall. Going to see Iron Man. Going to see The Incredible Hulk. Going to see Thor.
When I was young, like 3 years old, earliest memories, I remember us all just hanging out. And movies was the thing.
Yeah.
Like, it was,
We even filmed a couple movies together. We us all three have home videos of me, you, and him jumping on the freaking trampoline.
We do.
And he's like shooting Nerf guns at us, or he puts like the Hulk gloves on.
The Hulk gloves,
and he's like,
we jump off.
He would smash the ground, and we'd jump on the trampoline.
Yeah.
Dude, Mom pulled those out a couple, almost like a year, like last Christmas or something.
Yeah.
And they dang near made me want to cry.
Yeah.
I was
I
like,
gotta see these things.
Dude, it's crazy. Because
that really unlocked the memory for me too. Cause, when you were talking about that, I was like, we made movies, and then you were starting to reiterate or describe the scenes, and I was like, holy shit, we did.
Yeah. Mom, get the camera.
Yes, dude.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Good times, man. I would really seriously put on like these huge Hulk gloves, like the soft Hulk gloves, and get on the trampoline, and y'all would be like, back up.
Yeah, dude.
And I would smash on the trampoline, y'all would just like jump and fall.
Yes, dude.
Just, oh man.
Oh, that's so
good
pure,
time,
dude.
Man.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's extremely pure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it is.
Early memories of just a good life.
Yeah. Well, with that being said, going back to that time period, when So you don't have to start thinking about like whenever you're like, okay, I'm gonna start making movies. You said like James Bond and stuff.
Yeah.
When did you start like being like, okay, I really love film. This is an interest for sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not to where the point it turned into an avenue for you.
Yeah.
But like, where did that grow? What directors? When did you start knowing names of directors? When did you start being like, okay, like what was the seed that stemmed the tree it is now?
That's true. I mean, my whole life, I always felt like I had more of an in-tune feeling with movies. Like my whole life, like everybody, like every day I came to school, if there was like a new movie out, I'm like, oh, did you see this? Did you see the new, like Transformers movie or whatever?
Yeah.
Just like always had like a feeling with it. And I think as I got older, like I started discovering like, okay, there's actually like serious films. There's films that kind of speak, there's a movie for literally everyone. And I think, I always was into music, always was kind of into like doing whatever, I guess, but like movies always kind of spoke to me differently. And then like, I kind of just had a realization in high school. I was like, dude, I feel more connected to movies than any other art form that there is.
Yeah.
And I was like, I would rather sit here and watch a movie than try to hang out with like that group of the lunch table than, because that's like, oh, all my friends are over there, but I'd rather go watch a movie and feel good about myself, learn something genuinely. And I think that just kind of like really manifested itself to where I felt like I wanted to have something to say as well.
Yeah.
So I think...
Yeah, you want to be a player in that game.
Yeah, and I just love that movies are so awesome. Like, you watch a good movie and you're like, dude, that scene was crazy.
Yeah.
It's just, it's a good conversation. I mean, movies are awesome. That just really manifesting itself in me.
Yeah.
I love film. Very much so.
Do you remember when that matured and then you start, because I think about, and this I probably think about 3-4 years ago, maybe 2-3 years ago, and then you start coming to me asking me, have you seen this movie directed by blah blah blah, and I'm like, who is this director? I didn't know that freaking Fight Club was directed by David Fincher.
Wow,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's one of my favorite movies of all time, but I didn't know the director. And then you start coming to me and you're like, yo, like, and like the amount of directors that you can name. When did that become like, okay, I'm starting to pay attention to these people, and it's like they made this movie that I like, so I'm gonna go check out this film, and this film. When did it turn into that?
Like kind of like becoming a student of the game.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I think it transitions. Like you get into actors first, and then you're like, okay, who directed that? And then like, okay, who did the cinematography? Or like, okay, who wrote that? And then you kind of just like fall into it. But I think in terms of like really like having a discussion, I mean, there's 2 movies I watched that really made me interested in the director themselves. It was Get Out.
Ooh, that's
Jordan Peele. I was just like, because he was a comedy guy. He did Key and Peele, and I never would have thought that this guy would make the best horror movie I've ever seen. Like, just super funny, like comedian, and I think that was like seeing that was very, very, very inspiring to me. I just wanted to get into that, and then I saw Pulp Fiction.
No way.
And then like I was like, this is the weirdest but coolest film I've ever seen. And like Quentin Tarantino, and it's like, oh, he made Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2, and then Django and Inglourious Bastards, and then you just kind of like fall into a rabbit hole of like, these are great movies made by this guy. And then Jordan Peele has had like Us and Nope come out, and like, oh, Jordan Peele's amazing. But like, those 2 films for sure, I remember watching and just like falling into that rabbit hole, and ever since it's just been like, I'm very much like wanting to know who did this and watching it. And, for sure.
I remember the summer after your freshman year, we went and watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and we were so stoked for that, dude.
Yeah.
And I was too, because I love Django is one of my favorite movies ever, dude. That movie is so good. But yeah, I mean, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is definitely in my top 5 favorite movies. I have that
my
poster on
gosh.
my wall.
That's my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie.
It's so
For
good,
sure.
dude. It's so good.
For sure.
I don't want to kill the vibe, but I've never seen that movie.
Dude, it's fantastic.
It's good.
It's
That's
fantastic.
what everybody tells me. Every time I say it, people look at me sideways like, you haven't seen the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's-
Dude, it's such a. I hate to say, but it's very much like a good dude film. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just kind of like you could really watch that back with your bro and just be like, because it's a buddy comedy almost.
It is.
It's like
It is.
Cliff Booth and Rick Dalton.
Yeah.
One's like the cool, like Brad Pitt plays the coolest, slick back, badass character you've ever seen. And then you got like Rick Dalton, who's really trying to make it as an actor in the film industry. And it's almost a movie about movies. It is. It's really cool. It's really cool.
Yeah, and
I
then,
really like
but
it.
it's like it's also like historical fiction. That's why it's called Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And like Charles Manson people, like his people killed Sharon Tate, who was an actress played by Margot Robbie in the movie. And the Once Upon a Time part is they don't die, and then like kind of that cherry on top at the end of the movie. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but like the way everything unravels to where it was once upon a time, how that ends and how that all plays, dude. The way that he wrapped everything up there at the end, it's a trip, dude. And it's like, oh my god, like it. Hannah watched that. Hannah she'll be kind of skeptical to watch movies that have like a little bit of gore or like or crazy action in it, and that one definitely there at the end kind of had that. But like we were both like laughing and came out of that movie being like, that's one of the greatest movies I've ever seen because it's like the way that it ends is just like, dude, this is so cool.
It's such a good ending.
So cool.
It's a love letter to Hollywood, as Quentin would say. It's
Yeah.
just like, just in love with the movie idea.
That era.
Yeah, that era. That's the era he like grew up in, and making like a good fairy tale out of what it meant for him. And it's a fun ride. It really is.
It is. It's a fantastic movie. I couldn't recommend it enough.
Yeah.
It's a great. I have it on DVD. Please borrow it and please watch it, dude.
Dude, I don't even think I have a DVD player in my house.
No way.
I swear.
PlayStation 2.
That's true.
PlayStation 2.
Bro, I do have a DVD player now.
PlayStation 2.
Yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah, because I bought the digital edition of the PS5, so.
Yeah.
I'm sure Once Upon a Time in Hollywood's on like a streaming
Oh
service.
yeah,
For
sure.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I've seen it on Amazon Prime.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've definitely seen that just scrolling. One time for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic movie.
It was a great movie.
I think so too.
Sure.
I gotta pee.
Yeah, sure.
All right. We'll be right back.
All right.
And we're back. So while we're on the topic of movies, you had mentioned previously that kind of James Bond was one of those first films that you got into, kind of got you into the love of movies.
Yeah.
So I love James Bond movies. Me and my papa, every time a new one would come out, he would take me to the movie theaters to go see it. I love all of the Daniel Craig James Bonds.
Yes.
And not only that, but just like the storyline of it. And I love how like each new James Bond, when it's played by someone else, has its own storyline, has its own like, you know, they all kind of have the same villains, correct? But it all kind of tells a different story.
Exactly.
So who is your favorite James Bond actor?
Daniel Craig.
Okay,
Has to
fuck
be.
yeah.
Has to be. I mean,
that's my favorite.
that's what I grew up on. My earliest memory of like movies was Casino Royale. And that's like the best James Bond movie. That's one of my favorite movies of all time. And Daniel Craig, dude, and how they ended it with No Time to Die.
Oh man.
My God.
Have you seen No Time to Die?
Yes.
Holy shit.
I've watched all the Daniel Craig ones.
Really?
Yeah, and I try to get Hannah to watch them with me because she would love them.
They're so badass. They're so good.
Dude, it's great for a man to watch because it's like, oh yeah, guns,
Yeah.
violence, sex, like everything
action,
you want in a
yeah,
movie.
yeah.
But also for women, it's like,
It's heartbreaking.
it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It's a love story. It's
Yes,
like, you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, it's just like
That's why
that man that they can never get, you know? It's just like,
Yeah.
God, it's such a good movie.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
a great movie. I
Yeah.
love those movies.
I mean, that's why I feel like the Daniel Craig era is the best version of James Bond because it's like, I feel like that's the most like real character. It's like the early ones are great for sure, but that's a lot more of just like he's he's a cool guy who gets all the girls and always wins. It's like Daniel Craig, like he legit. I mean, he died in the last one. That has never happened, and that was the 25th movie in the franchise.
Yeah,
so
dude.
it's like
That movie.
I love how they progressed Daniel Craig's character, and he killed the role so good. Like he's oh my gosh, he's one of my favorite actors just for that character.
For that alone, yeah, dude. I feel
Casino Royale is such a good
Oh
movie.
my
Yeah.
gosh.
Honestly, low key, I was a big fan of Quantum of Solace.
I was about to say my favorite's
Yeah.
Quantum of
Dude,
Solace.
Really?
I love Casino
it's-
Royale,
yeah.
but Quantum of Solace, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had the
Ooh-wee.
game. I had the game of that.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
It was so fun. They've made a game for almost every single freaking James Bond ever.
They back in the day, PS2. You remember when they used to bring out like their demo discs where they had like 8 or 9 games on
Called
the
Jam Packs.
Jam
They'd have
Pack,
Jam Pack 2004,
Yeah.
Jam Pack 2005.
and it'd always have like Splinter Cell. or-
Yeah.
It would always have those games on it.
Yeah.
One of them had James Bond 007 From Russia with Love.
Oh wow,
That
yeah,
game
that's a great
is
game.
Ooh.
fire.
Great game.
And
Yeah.
you can only play up to a certain point, but it was that demo was so good
Yeah.
that I was like constantly going to GameStop and looking for like used games and finally found it.
Really?
I
Wow.
finally found that game and bought it and like
Yeah.
played the full game. You could get on there and play like 1v1.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yo,
in, like,
dude, you
in
could-
the
yeah.
missile silo and
Yeah.
everything like that. You get on there
Yeah.
like drive trucks around, shoot each other, and dude, it was so
Yeah.
much fun.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But yeah, Daniel Craig. I'm
Oh
so
my
glad you
gosh,
said that.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Quick question. Is From Russia with Love, is that Roger Moore?
That's Sean Connery. That's
Yeah,
Sean-
Sean Connery.
that's
Oh,
the
that's when he had
second-
black hair.
Yeah, that's no. It was black.
Kind of.
hair.
In the game he does anyway. It's black
Yeah.
hair.
But yeah, that's the second ever James Bond movie.
Was Roger Moore the first one?
No, Sean Connery was.
Sean Connery was the first one.
Sean
Who was the
Connery-
second one?
Sean Connery, then George Lazenby had one movie,
Yeah.
and then it was Sean Connery, and then
You said Sean Connery, then two.
George Lazenby.
But you
was
said
second.
Sean Connery first and third. Am I tripping or did he say
No,
that?
you're not tripping.
Okay.
Okay, Roger Moore's the third.
Roger Moore's the third. Okay,
So it's
that's
Sean-
what I was
yeah.
asking. Yeah,
My
yeah.
bad.
You were like
No,
Sean
yeah.
Connery, then this guy, then Sean Connery.
This is a trial run for that guy.
Well, I mean, no, but he did come back. He so Sean Connery made like his, I think it was like first 5 or 6.
Yeah.
George Lazenby made one, and then he came back for Diamonds Are Forever. Sean Connery came back after George Lazenby made one, and then they went to Roger Moore, and then Sean Connery had another James Bond movie, but that it wasn't like a. It was weird. It's kind of like a spin-off James Bond movie. They don't count it in the run. But he came back like 3 different times.
Really?
Who was the actor for 007 Octopussy?
Roger Moore.
It was
Roger Moore. He had a lot of the more.
He was
like-
Goldfinger, wasn't he?
No, that's Sean Connery.
So
Gold-
GoldenEye was Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah, Pierce Brosnan. That was
Yeah.
the one before Daniel Craig.
Okay.
Yeah.
Octopussy was always just one of those ones where I was like, what is it?
The
Yeah,
dam
that's it.
alone,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was that Roger Moore era was definitely like the funkier James Bond movies. There's still some good ones, but like Octopussy and A View to a Kill were just kind of interesting. You
Yeah.
know?
Well, Octopussy to me is just like, it's like octopus, like Spectre was the branches of the octopus. Am I right?
Oh,
like
yeah,
that was
yeah,
like their
yeah.
symbol.
Yeah,
and everything. It's like
yeah, you're right, yeah,
each
you-
arm of the crime
Mhm.
syndicate.
Yeah.
That's kind of like where I thought that was supposed to play. I've never watched that movie.
Yeah.
Me neither,
It's
but-
been a while since I've seen it.
You have it on DVD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have almost all the James Bond movies. I still have. I'm like missing a couple.
My papo has every one.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Like,
that's cool.
All, what'd you say, 25?
25.
Yeah, like old box sets.
That's cool.
Yeah, VHS.
VHS.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
That's
really
dope.
cool.
Because like I remember when we would go watch those Daniel Craig movies, like I was super into it. I was like, dude,
Yeah.
this is awesome. He's like, you think this is good?
Yeah.
Why don't you go watch this guy?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then we
yeah.
turned it on. I was like, this sucks. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
like it's just not
The time gap.
the time gap, the CGI.
Oh yeah.
You know everything about it. It just looks so much better and more polished and
Of course.
vibrant.
Of course.
But I mean, I do have respect for those older movies. You know,
Of course,
like,
you got to.
especially the classics that are huge hits and are you know such a staple. But at the same time, just like I was sitting there, I was like, nah, this ain't it,
Yeah.
Papa.
Yeah.
This
No, I
ain't
feel
it.
that. I mean, at the time though, that's the same exact way how we feel about Daniel Craig. It's like
Exactly.
they saw Odd Job throw his hat, and his hat was able to cut through a concrete statue's head, and everybody's like, "What?" You
Yeah.
know, that's like the
Yeah.
coolest. You know, so Time for sure. But yeah, the Daniel Craig ones. I mean, I think in terms of just the story alone, like, those are probably the objectively best Bond films.
I would completely agree.
For sure.
In my head, whenever I think of the mascot for James Bond, though, I think of Pierce Brosnan. You know what I mean?
A lot of people either say Pierce Brosnan or Sean Connery. That's just
Or
like
Sean
the
Connery.
look and vibe, the feel, the style of James Bond. I feel like a lot of people either say Pierce Brosnan or Sean Connery.
Yeah,
For
no,
sure.
and I see that. I mean, Pierce Brosnan, his James Bond, brought us some of the best video games of all time. 007 GoldenEye for the Nintendo 64 changed the first-person shooter genre forever. And then we got 007 Nightfire, which was a game that I had, and then 007 Agent Under Fire. Those games are just such bangers after banger, and it's like, oh my gosh, how these are some of the best video games I've ever played, and it's like based off a movie, and those usually don't do well. Games based off movies. You know what I mean?
I think it was like just recently, Marvel finally surpassed the amount of money made in total. They surpassed James Bond, because James Bond was like the franchise out of video games, movies, merchandise. You know, they were like the biggest movie franchise of all time, and then Marvel like after Endgame, which is understandable. But I mean, I think it's cooler the fact that like for so much time James Bond was like the upper echelon of like what people saw in theaters for sure.
Yeah, no, that's cool. So, has there only been 5 James Bonds? So was Pierce Brosnan after Sean Connery?
So there's Sean Connery, George Lazenby, Roger Moore, Timothy Dalton, Pierce Brosnan, and Sean Connery. Daniel Craig. I did it again.
How many movies did Timothy Dalton have?
2. So he had License to Kill and
really
The Living Daylights.
Oh wow.
Living Daylights, something like that.
Something similar to that. We're not gonna hold you to it.
Yeah. He had 2, but his 2 were good. Like it was, they were really good. A lot of people didn't see him as Bond because his portrayal was a lot more darker. Like he wasn't really like the romanticizer or charming, but he really got the brutal aspects of Bond down. Like he did all his own stunts and stuff. But Daniel Craig did too. I don't know. It's very cool.
Yeah.
But Daniel Craig, I mean, gosh, Daniel Craig.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, the chase scene at the beginning of Casino Royale.
Oh yeah.
Oh, when he's like at the construction site.
Yeah.
That one. Oh my gosh.
Were they cockfighting? Is that what they were doing?
Yeah, they were. Yeah,
they're all betting on the cockfighting.
Was it cockfighting or dogfighting?
It was like a snake fighting a badger.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
some sort of animal.
And
abuse.
then
Michael
James
Vick
Bond
was there.
he touches his ear, and then he just sees the guy look at him at the same time.
It wasn't James Bond. It was another agent. And he's
on
the phone talking to him, and
he's like, don't look at him.
He's like, don't touch your ear, idiot.
Yeah,
you know? And then that guy looks over
yeah.
and sees him touching his ear and takes off.
Yeah.
It's just like, he's like, damn it.
Yeah.
And he's just like, let me do it.
Yeah. And
what's crazy about that? Sorry, I don't mean to cut you.
No, you're good.
That guy who they were chasing was one of the originators of parkour ever. Like the art form parkour, because that guy in the scene is just like going through everything, and James Bond's like running through walls. But that dude's like jumping from like these places. He was like one of the first originators of parkour in general.
Yeah.
That's when it started around the time they were making the movie. And they just called him up to be like the villain for the time. Dude, it turned out it was a really good scene.
That's sick.
Very good
I
scene.
just remember him running up a bunch of scaffolding. Then there's like a crane with an I-beam on it, and it's like tilting, and he's like running on the I-beam like while it's tilting, and it's like, oh my gosh.
That fight scene on the crane is amazing.
Yeah, dude, that's a great movie.
I need to rewatch them. It's been a minute.
So you boys fill me in. So we got Quantum of Solace. I mean, we got Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, Spectre.
Nope. Skyfall.
Then Spectre?
Skyfall's great.
Skyfall, then Spectre?
Yeah. Yes.
Then No Time to Die, or was there one between those?
No, so it's...
He just had 5.
Five.
Right?
5.
Okay,
Five movies that span like...
Skyfall's a good one.
Skyfall's great.
I think the soundtrack for Skyfall was the best.
Oh, yeah.
It was.
So good.
I don't know if exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen Skyfall, but I know it from the soundtrack.
You've seen it. We watched it together.
Did we?
I'm pretty sure we all 3 watched it together.
There was one that I know for a fact. I think it was either Casino Royale or Quantum of Solace that we saw together.
Oh, okay.
Me, you, and your
think
dad.
it was Quantum of Solace because they go to the desert, right?
Yeah.
In that town.
Yes.
Yes, that's what it was.
Okay,
I guarantee that's what it was.
Yeah, I know we all three saw one for sure. I
Yeah.
really never.
I think there's a Transformers movie we all three saw together too.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was neither one or two.
I think it was third. What's it called?
Dark Side of the Moon.
The Dark Side of the Moon.
Is it Dark Side of the Moon or Dark of the Moon?
I think that's a Mandela effect. Because I swear to God, it's Dark Side of the Moon.
I have no idea.
But that's also
Yeah.
a Pink Floyd album, so I may be
Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah.
switching that up.
Who knows?
I know.
Comment below.
Is that a Mandela effect?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I mean, we've seen a ton of movies together.
Yeah.
I mean, like, back in the day, whenever I'd come over to, like, sleep over at your house or something,
Oh my gosh.
it was like a staple for your parents to take us over to movie stars.
Yeah.
You know, because at that point, Blockbuster had kind of died.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, we used to go to Blockbuster
Yeah.
way
Yeah.
early,
Mhm.
but we would all go to movie stars, and they'd be like, "All right, you get one video game and one movie,"
Yeah.
Yeah.
and we'd run that store rampant.
Oh my
And if
gosh.
we were feeling ballsy, we'd get some scary ass movies.
Oh yeah, I do. Oh my gosh.
Scary movies.
Scary movies. We'll get into that.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, is there anything that you would like to say? Anything you'd like to promote? Also, I don't know if we kind of segued separately. Would you? So whenever you change, and this is a complete 180 into what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Whenever you transferred from okay, I'm gonna do music, to movies. What was the shift that you saw? What was like okay, this is really what I'm here to do. This is really what I have to do, or
Yeah.
else I'm going to regret it if I don't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I always I still do music. It's not like
I know you do.
Like I definitely still have like a passion for music, but I think at the time too, I didn't have a job, and I was like working on some music, but it wasn't really going anywhere because I didn't have equipment
Yeah.
to really like indulge. It wasn't like equipment was a problem, but I was just like I was making the best that I could on something that wasn't really like as opening and grand to use and stuff. So I think I was just like I was so into movies at the time.
You also never put your music out though.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's very
You
true.
had a computer and you had a MIDI keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
That's very true. And I don't know. I just think because I still want to make music in the long run. Like if I happen to make movies for real as my job and like as a real deal, I still would love to just pop out with a single every now and then. Just
that'd be cool. Childish Gambino.
Yeah,
That's like
for real.
Donald
Yeah.
Glover vibe. Yeah.
And so I mean, I never really lost a passion for music, but like I just feel like I love seeing something. I don't know. Music and movies are very just like.
I get it, dude. That's how I feel too. That's not what I'm like putting out there, but
Yeah.
dude, I totally get that.
Yeah.
Like I get
No,
that
yeah.
feeling. I get those emotions from that.
For sure.
The two things that can still make me cry as a
Yeah.
grown man are music and movies.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like that for real.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's what touches me so hard.
Yeah.
Is those two things.
Yeah. And I think too with music, because everybody's kind of into music. Like everybody is like, at least it's just so much like you hear a lot more of like a band in high school. You don't really hear much of a 18-year-old director. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So I think as a way to differentiate myself and maybe have an opportunity and to just kind of just something that isn't as used to, but still have music very much like carry my soul, because music is the voice of the soul, as they say.
Yeah,
but,
it is. And you were in choir all through DV.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun. Choir was fun. But yeah, took music very seriously. I learned a lot through like acapella and stuff.
Yeah.
We even sang a lot. But yeah, no, I think I just, in terms of just, I don't know, just movies are dope.
Movies are dope, dude.
Movies are dope. And I moved over to that just because I thought, I thought of Teenage Angst while I didn't even want to. I didn't have that for certain. Like, I wanted to be a director, and I thought of, like, this idea because I was, like I said, living through what it meant to go through that and just really just a feeling of wanting to depict that, just like an opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, for sure.
So, and I'm not trying to put so much pressure on you, because it's like I couldn't answer this question when I was your age. But where do you / would you like to see yourself in 5 years or a year or 2 years, anywhere in between that time, of where you're at in the movie making process, or whether that's just some sort of content creation, whether you are working on music or movies or making like short films or whatever. Like what do you see that's on your horizon in that avenue?
Well, I actually did want to say this.
Okay.
I do think, regardless of what Teenage Inks will be, what Teenage Inks is, it was like the for sure learning experience I had was like there's so much trial and error through making that, and just through what I've learned, I feel like I can really do anything. And it's not like that, but it was just like,
I know exactly what you mean, though.
I'm under this pressure, I have such a low budget, I'm trying to make something that isn't like a job yet. Like, you're not like pulling up on set because you got a time from a director. It's like, it's kind of just like putting it together with the best I know how to in this environment. And so I think making that, I have a lot more of like an idea of how to actually make a real movie with like people. And so I hope, and like, I mean, I don't really know how to think about it time wise, because I think everything just kind of happens when it happens.
It does.
But I mean, in like 5 years, dude, if I could just be like working and writing and just be in a real production company, just putting together something and, you know, making music on the side and learning how to make music more when I grow up. I don't know. I really would. In 5 years, ideally, I would like to just be certain, like, that's what I do for a living.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it takes 50 years, I mean,
yeah, dude,
it's gonna. I mean, time is just on my side at all times.
It is. And for the insider information I know, you actually have people already hitting you up about helping them with like music videos and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you not?
Yeah. Austin, he asked me to record.
Dude, I think you can make a great video.
Oh
for him,
easily. This kid named Carson at my school, he's a little rapper.
Yeah, shout out Carson.
Shout out Carson if you're watching. He had asked me to, and I've been pushing it off because I've been working on this movie so long. But I'm just like, you know, whatever I get this wrapped up, dude, we'll discuss ideas.
Yeah.
A lot of, you know, just, and I'm gonna promote myself out there a lot more as well.
Yeah.
For just, you know, music videos and weddings and stuff.
So like going into like film and photography too. So like when you just said wedding, like, so would that be like a side project, or would that be like a predecessor or a precursor to like that giving you more film / photography experience? You know what I mean?
Anything. I mean, in terms of if I was just filming a wedding, that would just be more like, it's kind of like commercial style. Like, you're just kind of filming something and putting it together to make sure it pleases to them.
Yeah, and you're making money off that.
Exactly, and that's just kind of like a side hustle to get my name out there more so. Like, you can see what I'm putting together. Just more of like a, you know, growing.
Yeah.
But I'm like, what my objective is after Teenage Angst in terms of like what I want to do, what I think would help now, and it would be, and now learning what I did from Teenage Angst would be short films.
Short films?
Short films for sure, man. There's there's so many film festivals about short films.
Yeah, there are, dude. Sundance. Oh yeah.
There's a lot, and there's a lot of like low budget ones. There's a lot of stuff like that locally here, and
yeah,
I would love to just make a short film.
And to be honest with you, there's such a great platform out there for it, YouTube.
Yeah,
oh, dude.
There's so many incredible short films on YouTube. Like, literally, like, 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
But they say so much in 20 minutes.
Yeah, dude.
And they encapsulate it in just a couple scenes.
Exactly.
And, like, dude, I can't tell you how many, like, great... Because I really dig, like, the horror genre.
Yeah.
So, like, there's so many good horror short films on
really?
YouTube, dude. There's a deep rabbit hole on that side of YouTube.
I bet.
I've found it, and it's like one of those things, like, you watch, like, 20, 25 minutes of this video, and you're just kind of like... You're uneasy the rest of the day.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is like all it takes is that 25 minutes.
Oh yeah.
You know, so it's like there's an avenue there in YouTube for sure. Mm-hmm. Not only just like, you know, submitting to these like, you know, bigger entities to get onto that platform, but like YouTube itself.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
to get your viewership out there, to get like people following you, so that way like when you do submit that to like a Sundance or some other place, they can also look back and be like, well, this dude does have 50,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
And his views are like hundreds, 200,000.
That's very true.
Yeah, so.
That's very true.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that's that Casey Neistat like the path he took.
Yeah.
Like him and his brother have like legit gotten budgets to make movies and short films, and he started on YouTube.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, he didn't exactly start on YouTube, but he had experience, and he was like, "Let me go to YouTube." Then he like realized that once you get monetized on YouTube, and all it takes is one video, one short, one skit, one whatever to pop off a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like once you're monetized, and if you get like 1 million views on that, it's like, oh my gosh, I just made $10,000 on one video.
That's crazy.
What in the world is life?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what it is. I'm taking. This is free for me to record this, but it's like, golly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Gee
Subscribe.
willikers. Yeah.
Subscribe.
Subscribe,
Yes.
please. 1,000 subscribe. Dude, great news.
What?
YouTube lowered their
I heard that they were going to do that.
They lowered their
Regulations
to get monetized.
Wow.
500 subs.
Wow.
500 subs, 3,000 watch hours. It used to be 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subs.
Yeah.
It's changed. Please subscribe. You know what I mean? It's like that, and you're close.
Yeah.
Dude, you're close. You have like.
I haven't posted seriously in forever.
Dude, you're pretty much the reason that I started making YouTube videos.
Really?
Because JD like has a YouTube channel. What do you have, like 200 something subscribers?
Oh yeah, something like that.
Anyway, like he made a video and it's like he was reviewing Tyler the Creator's newest album.
Igor.
And it was a long form video and it got like 6,000 views and I was like, what in the world?
When I was in 8th grade.
When he was in 8th grade. Yeah.
Shorts weren't even a thing 2 years ago. But when I was in 8th grade, I like as soon as the Tyler album dropped, like everybody's looking up what
review,
and so
reaction.
I was the biggest Tyler fan, and I like listened.
Still
I stayed up. Yeah, still probably probably like the #1 Tyler fan. But I'm not saying that out there. But dude, I made a video about like how I felt about Igor, the intricacies of Igor, and what it all meant, what he was trying to say through some of the songs, and I posted like the day after it came out, and dude, I had like 30 subs, something like that, and it just popped off.
Yeah.
Like it got like 6,000 views, and it was cool because I was in 8th grade, and I was just like
making
what?
YouTube videos. Yeah, that's dope.
About just something I loved, like it was cool.
Yeah,
it was cool.
Heck yeah, that's cool.
Man, and when this movie's done, for sure, I'm going to do a lot of promotional shorts and stuff and just promote it out there and just really, hopefully, like, on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube and a bunch of that stuff, just promote it and hopefully gain, like, some sort of traction from it.
What about things like skits that you aren't taking as serious
as
a short film?
I'd love to make skits, just,
Like Key and Peele, Jordan Peele is one of your biggest inspirations. Something like Key and Peele style.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Just a bunch of funny stuff.
Exactly.
It'd be cool to make a skit right now, just like podcast style. Then like we look over, then it's like film quality all of a sudden, and it's like
and then it gets serious. It's like, what in the world?
Yeah.
Do you see that in the window?
Yeah, I was about to say, homie looking at us through the window right there.
Yeah.
Just like it turns to a horror film out of
nowhere.
Lights are just like.
Yeah, it's like. I mean, really, possibilities are endless.
They are.
But yeah. And I plan like after this movie's done, I plan on like taking a week off.
You need to relax.
Yeah,
for real.
Taking like a couple weeks off, just kind of, like you said, easing my nerves and chilling. But I would love to just brainstorm ideas, write down ideas. This would be a cool short film. This would be,
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. I mean, having a creative like outlet is just so necessary,
For sure.
And I love this. You know what I mean? And I love creating this community, this group, and all of our supporters. Not trying to get like, you know what I mean? But like definitely breaking the fourth wall here. But it's like we are so thankful for you guys. Like even though we have like a small amount of subscribers right now, but we're so thankful for each and every one of you, and regardless of the views we get, we're still gonna keep pumping these out because this is awesome.
Yeah.
Being able to have you on here, me and him just chopping it up, then any other people that want to come on here and talk and that have something to say, it's like we're definitely entertaining that. And it's
for sure, especially like people around the community too, because it's like, obviously like we don't have that many subscribers. You know, we get 100, 200 views or something like that. Like, it'd be dope if it was, you know, popping off and everything, but like, our reach is our community.
Exactly.
You know,
that's
so
very
like,
true. Exactly.
And that's what we want to serve first.
Yeah.
You know, like people around the community, just like, you know, this guy over here that has his own band, or this guy over here that's in city government, or, you know, just like
this guy that's opening a store downtown.
Yeah, this guy that's opening a store downtown.
Yeah.
And just like all these people like in our communities is like, people that we can reach is the people that we're just interested in, you know?
Yeah.
And then, especially even over time, like if this, you know, by the grace of God, grows to something crazy, like getting that reach, but like I would still be fine sticking in the community.
Yeah, dude, exactly.
You know? Because at that point, it's a megaphone.
Yeah.
It's amplifying that voice of these people and like bringing even more people from surrounding communities or surrounding states to like this area and like to this, like making them aware of people like this in this our town, and really like putting our town on the map.
Yeah.
You know, I know that's like really like far thinking, but at the same time it's just like that's kind of like what we would want to do in that scenario of it happening.
Yeah. And not to say this in like an egotistic way, but it's like this dude, this sneakerhead that I follow, his name's Mayor. But he has this saying where he's like, I'm locally celebrated, but globally known. You know what I mean? And it's like, I want to stay true to my community. I really don't have intentions of leaving Kingsport. You know what I mean? I love it here. And I want to see these people here thrive. And I want to be able to talk to people. I want to build myself up to where I can create a platform and then give other people around us a platform.
Yeah, for
You know what I mean? And that like that's just parlays into what you were just saying. You know, like just giving them, come on, talk, promote yourself, then so on and so forth. The next person, come on, talk, promote yourself. Who are you? What are you doing? What do you have to promote? We're here to help you. I would love to get it to that point.
Yeah.
And it's like that's we're definitely nowhere near that now, but it's like with that being in my mind and my heart, it's like I know the potential's there.
Oh,
like
for
I
sure.
have such strong faith in that. Like if we just keep consistent, and like you said in the last podcast, whenever we had to take a week off, that's probably why our last video got such low views, because we did have to take a week off. But consistency is rewarded, and man.
Well, dude, if you look at all successful people, they have so many different traits that makes them successful, but there's one trait that is amongst every single successful person, and it's consistency.
Consistency.
Is it they have the consistency to show up every single day.
Yeah.
No matter what's going on or anything like that, they know that they're going to be there to do something, to do that certain thing.
Yeah.
They're consistently there, and if you're consistently there, you'll never miss the opportunity.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But that's like with our podcast and like what we're doing here is just like there's a bowl to be eaten from.
Exactly.
And we're fighting for our spot at that bowl.
Yeah.
But once we get that spot at that bowl, it's not like we're just gonna like be like everybody else and, you know, keeping people out of it.
No, it's
we're gonna keep that room open to keep more people coming in here to eat more of that bowl, because there's plenty to eat for everybody.
Yeah. The bowl's huge.
The bowl is huge.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of big dogs around that bowl.
There are.
You know.
There's a lot of big dogs around that bowl.
So that's one thing. But yeah, I mean, dude, this podcast has been a blast.
Yeah, man.
And it's really cool having JD on here.
Yeah, it's been fun.
And promoting this movie and everything.
Yeah.
But you know, on the topic of movies, so our starting five this week, we're gonna get into that.
Starting five.
We did have a comment. Shout out our boy Jordan McAvoy. He commented top 5 sit-down restaurants. Yeah,
yes, sir.
top 5 sit-down restaurants. It was the most liked comment. We're going to keep that for next week.
We are.
Keeping in the realm of what this podcast kind of is encompassed around, we're going to do starting 5 horror movies.
because we got the boy on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It was suggested by our guest. So, with that being said, are you ready to go?
Do you want me to go first?
If you want it, if you're comfortable going first and you're ready, rip them off, dude. Go ahead. So we start with 5, being like your.
Do y'all want to go?
Like you have your 5 favorites. 5 is your least favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One's
but
the
still
best.
really great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still really great. Exactly. Exactly.
Well, so you want to start at 5?
Start at 5,
Okay.
work your way up. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I would say as a 5. Okay, let me think of my favorites real quick. I always think like I always kind of know what it is. I would say honestly, a movie that came out this year, and I don't know what it is. Beau is Afraid. It's such a creative, unique movie that like nobody has seen. It's just one of those films that is just the director doing exactly just what he wants to do, and it's just it's the craziest movie. Yeah, y'all need to just check it out and just like tell me what you think. You might not like it, and I can definitely see that because it's just it doesn't really make sense. It's all over the place, but it's amazing.
And get this, who's the lead actor?
Joaquin Phoenix
And who's the director?
Ari Aster.
He's after it. So.
He's after it.
Yeah.
Beau is Afraid.
Beau is Afraid.
A24 Studios, correct?
Yeah. A24, man. And then outside of that, I would say from Beau is Afraid. Oof. I know like my top 3 for sure, and that was 5.
Yeah.
Think of a 4. I would say for a 4, honestly, Evil Dead.
That's a good
Evil
one.
Dead. Evil Dead, the OG.
The OG. With the
OG.
chainsaw arm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's Evil Dead 2, I believe.
Is that Ash versus the Evil Dead?
No, that's
Ash
That's
is in
that's Evil Dead 2 where he gets the chainsaw on.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
okay.
he cuts his own arm off because it gets infected. And
Yeah.
like,
Puts his arm.
But
and
dude,
puts the chainsaw on.
and I really like the first Evil Dead because Sam Raimi made that movie.
Who also made Spider-Man. Spider-Man 2.
1, 2,
1, 2, and 3. Tobey
Tobey
Maguire.
Yeah. He made that on like a super low budget with his friends, and Bruce Campbell was his best friend,
That's
and like
dope.
they made that super low budget, and that just. It's such a cool film to watch. I watched it on Halloween when I first watched it, and it was such a cool low budget vibe, and I just really enjoyed the low budget, and it gave me hope to like. I watched it while I was making Teenage Angst, so it was like, if he can do it, I can do it too. So it was.
Well, they shot it in one cabin.
Yeah.
The entire movie is
And what's
in one
crazy-
cabin.
What's crazy? That was the first ever cabin in the woods movie, ever.
Yeah.
Like that started the whole genre,
Yeah.
which is pretty crazy.
The one that came out in like 2014, The Cabin in the
Yeah.
Woods, that movie is freaking hilarious.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
The movie gets wild.
It does get wild. But the dude that ends up living, like the stoner,
Yeah.
and he has that bong that extends and then he starts killing people with it. Dude,
I
that
haven't
movie
seen
is
it.
so funny,
I need
bro.
to watch it.
That movie is so
Chris
funny.
Hemsworth's in it, right?
I don't.
He is.
Is he?
It's
And
like,
it
that's
is
what
the
he-
most anticlimactic death of a character I've ever seen.
Really?
Dude, it's like one of those parts of the movie that when he dies, you're just like, what? What the fuck just happened?
Yeah,
You know, it's just
yeah.
like I remember sitting there watching that movie, being like, okay, this is pretty. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's not really scary.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But it's like it's cool, and then all of a sudden that happens. You're like, after that point of the movie, it's just like, what the fuck is this movie?
Yeah.
I know.
You
know.
know?
And then
Get
they
that.
break the fourth wall because there's a guy in it, and he's a black guy. But he's like, the black guy ain't dying first this time.
Yeah, yeah.
In that movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just think that's so funny, and that's such a good movie. And
Yeah.
they're great Evil Dead video games
Yeah.
as well. Like
And
old.
Evil Dead movie came out this year. Evil Dead Rise. It's
Yeah.
pretty
I haven't
good.
seen. I saw the one that came out in what was it? 2016.
The remake.
2015.
The remake of the
Yeah.
original.
What-
That one's terrifying.
That one is so scary, dude.
Yeah.
That one is so scary.
Yeah.
I remember watching that movie. Anyway,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Number 3. Have y'all seen The Thing?
Yeah,
Kurt Russell.
dude, that's a
Yeah.
good one.
That's
a
my
good
God, you need
movie.
to watch that.
I do need to watch that.
Dude, it's,
Is that Stanley?
Do
Kubrick?
not.
No, John Carpenter. He
Do
made
not-
John
Halloween.
Carpenter, Halloween. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
okay.
Do not watch that movie with Hannah.
Really?
Do
No,
not.
absolutely not.
That is the
No,
most, that is
no.
the most disgusting movie.
I've watched scenes from it, but I
Shoot.
haven't seen
It's
the movie.
wild, and it's all real, like practical effects.
Yeah.
And it's pretty wild. It's pretty crazy, but that's the plot of like the thing who can turn into anyone.
But the
Just
thing is like a little organism, isn't it?
Yeah,
well,
but
it's
it,
like
just takes
you never
possession?
know what it is.
it replicates biomass.
It's like you see at the beginning shot of the movie is literally an alien spaceship crashing into
Like
the
a-
Earth, and then it's like the thing.
in
but it's-
Antarctica.
In Antarctica, and they're like at like a little station.
It's trapped in the ice, and they excavate.
And they can't go anywhere.
the ice, and then
Ah.
they release that thing.
But
Yeah.
when you see the thing, it's just a dog, and you can kind of tell
Yeah,
like
I've
what it
seen
is.
that
It's just
scene.
a weird creature, but then it's just so cool how it develops. You're trying to pick out who's the actual thing, and then like, oh, he did it, and he just killed all of them. Dude, you need to watch it.
I mean,
another video game that did very well
yes,
from
dude.
the movie.
That's what I was about to say.
That video game is terrifying.
Yeah,
I
dude.
played it.
That's an old PlayStation 2 game,
Yeah.
just like the
Ooh.
Evil Dead, that has gained value because it's just like it was had a cult following
Yeah.
behind it. The Thing is a great.
Scary as shit.
I would
And
love to play that game.
What's crazy about it? It did terrible when it came out. 'Cause
Really?
E.T., another movie about something coming from outer space, came out like around the same time. I believe it was the same year. And that's Steven Spielberg. It was
Of
the
course.
most successful movie at the time, and
Mhm.
people hated The Thing, and it gained a cult following.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah,
crazy.
it is definitely a cult following.
And it's one of the
movie.
best horror movies ever made, for sure. That's like number 2, The Shining. I mean,
Shining.
just classic. Like, that's when you think of horror movies, it's like The Shining, like Stanley Kubrick. It's such a great Overlook Hotel
Oh,
idea.
Which is a
Very
real
well.
hotel, by the way.
Crazy enough.
Yeah.
I've never seen that movie personally.
Yeah.
I need to watch it, but
You do.
I do know that the symbolism in that movie is like
It's
off the
unreal.
chart.
It's crazy how
You
Stanley
can't fully
Kubrick thought of
depict
it.
it. Depict it.
Some like, dude, it goes so in tune that like even just like how Stanley Kubrick wanted the carpet to be designed, and how the kid's shirt to be designed, it's like proving that the moon landing was fake. Like, it's just like, how do you even think of that just in a horror film?
yeah.
But he's just, dude, he's thinking about every nook and cranny of the frame. It's so well made. It
Yeah.
really is. And then for number 1, I'd have to say Get Out. I
Get
said that
Out, dude.
earlier, but like,
That's a good one.
one of the
dude.
first films
You
that
can't.
really changed my perspective on filmmaking. Jordan Peele, great movie. I watch it I watch it 2-3 times a year.
Yeah.
That's his
just that-
debut film as a director as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's
And-
just super well made, and probably my favorite of his. But Nope's really good. Nope's an honorable mention for my top 5. But dude, Get Out has to be my favorite horror film.
Yeah.
Just
Thought provoking as well.
very,
Every one of his
thought-provoking.
movies are very thought
Very-
provoking.
Dude,
Very
all
so.
of them. Dude,
Yeah.
Us is an insane movie.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Us is
That says so much.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
That's what I love about horror movies, though. That's why I
Mhm.
think like horror movies, like a good horror movie, is something that you can sit there after you get done watching it. You're not just scared, but you're just kind of like uneasy because it like kind of unveils some bullshit that you have underneath.
Yeah,
you.
and very truthful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's
it
what
just,
I think.
it brings
that-
those demons to life.
I
Yeah.
think
Sure.
that's what the horror genre is.
dude,
Uh-huh.
that's what I understood later in life. Like you said, brings those demons to life. That's why a lot of to just like portray a crazier point. Like a lot of those like 1980, 1990s, and even now horror movies, they'll have nudity in it because it like brings that lustful element out of you,
Uh-huh.
which brings something to the surface that makes you vulnerable. That's then like, okay, why do you feel this way? You do feel this way.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, let me show you what's deep in you that's like gross.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm just like
The Shining has
and
something
then-
like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
then it's like, oh my gosh, I'm ugly.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got problems. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sitting here watching a horror movie. Being
That's
like,
the true. That's the true horror side of it.
It is.
Yeah.
It is, and that's what really messes with me. That's what keeps me up at night. Is that deeper? Ugh. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's not the that thing's scary. It's the that tarnished my soul a little
Yeah.
bit. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That's very true.
Mm-hmm.
Very true. So you can go ahead and run those back real quick if you can.
5, 4, 3, 2,
Okay,
1.
so
Well, your
5.
honorable mention was Nope.
Nope. Nope, honestly, would be 5 outside of Bo. Bo's afraid of Nope. are kind of
Okay.
there.
Neck
But
and
just
neck.
for what I said, Beau's Afraid at 5, Evil Dead at 4, The Thing at 3, The Shining at 2, Get Out at 1.
Okay.
That's my top 5 horror films.
That's a good list, dude.
That is a good list. Go ahead.
I'll run it, dude. Mine's a completely different take. I have horror movies at the stage that I'm at in life now genuinely scare me, and they will. I'm 25 years old, but I will stay up at night after I watch a horror movie.
Very true.
So one horror movie that I hold actually a little deep to my heart. I'm gonna start this off at number 5 because when I look at it from a film standpoint, it's not my favorite. But with what it actually means to me, I'm like, okay, this what this started was crazy. But me and Hannah watched this movie before we were dating, and we watched this movie the night that I first kissed her, and that movie was Sinister. And that movie, dude, it
Great
messed
movie.
me up.
Great movie.
I mean, we were talking about this off camera, but it's like, man. And Tucker said before, like the guy that is the main villain or the main
Bagul.
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 Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like a member of Slipknot, like that member of Slipknot looks freaking like him.
Just like him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean that, and then like you said earlier off camera, Ethan Hawke did a great job in that movie.
Man. Ethan Hawke's great. I love Ethan Hawke.
He's a great actor,
Yeah.
you know. But that Sinister definitely messed me. I've only seen it once, but it still lingers around in my head when I think of like addicts, like ATTIC, not ADDICT, attic, you know, like the place above your house. So I mean, man, that movie's just crazy. So Sinister, number 5. Number 4, I'm gonna have to put Nightmare on Elm Street. Number 3, Dream Warriors. Dude, that movie.
That's a specific.
That's a specific one because I bought the box set of that.
Yeah.
And before horror movies really started messing with my soul, I was really into them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the third Nightmare on Elm Street, dude, Dream Warriors. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Now, if I'm not mistaken, on Rotten Tomatoes, it is the highest rated Nightmare on Elm Street movie. It's about they're not in an insane asylum, but it's about all these teenagers that are in I don't know if it's a foster home, but it's like they all have problems that they're dealing with. You know what I mean? Some have depression.
Kind of like a halfway house.
Kind of like a halfway house. But they all have, and it's not just because they're homeless, they like all have like genuine like problems and disorders with them. But in that movie, they realize that Freddy Krueger is just like a thought in their imagination, and it's just the fear that's bringing him to life, kind of like it, in a way. And they realize that they can battle him when they come together and give him less power by being less fearful of him, and then they like team up to like defeat him. Oh my gosh, it's just such a great movie. And then it's like just kind of gets rid of like in that movie, with what a horror movie does to someone's soul, in that movie they kind of like give you the idea of like how to actually deal with something that you're dealing with that's messing with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, the fact that a horror movie is giving you this, but it's also a horror movie at the same time, I'm like, I really vibe with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to this day, it is still the highest rated Nightmare on Elm Street movie in the series, and I love that movie. So that's my number 3. And that's my number 4. Sorry.
I need to check that out.
It's great. It's great, and I have the box set on DVD if you want to borrow it.
Just for 3?
For 3 is my
Yeah,
favorite,
okay.
but no, I have the whole movie on box set. But
that's cool.
yeah, check out number 3 for
I
sure.
need to.
So number 4 is Nightmare on Elm Street 3. Number 3 was JD's 2.
The Shining.
The Shining. The Shining, dude. Oh my gosh, what that did to me, bro. Oh my gosh, that is one of the best films that I've ever seen. Just in, like you said, everything that you said. I just am piggybacking off that.
Just
like
crazy.
like Stanley Kubrick.
There's
like,
so much in the ending shot.
Yeah.
There's just like there's so much.
oh my gosh,
There's so much.
everything that he and Red Rum.
Oh, that scene.
Red
dude.
Rum. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you've seen the movie, you know. Because Red Rum spelled backwards murder. You know what I mean? But oh my gosh, that movie is so crazy, and I love it. That's a movie that is a horror movie, quote unquote, or a thriller. But I could watch that today and it not like mess with me. But I'm like, man, that movie was actually saying something.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
For sure.
It's a really good movie, and I mean Stanley Kubrick. You can't end on the countless films that he's made, like Clockwork Orange.
Arguably the best director of all time.
Arguably.
2001: A Space Odyssey.
Odyssey. Yeah.
Objectively, sorry, as a side note.
You're good.
Objectively, not my personal favorite film. But objectively, is the best film I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, how do you make
Yeah.
that? It's so good. It's crazy. It's unbelievable.
Mhm.
It's crazy.
So yeah, number 3 is The Shining, and my number 2 is JD's number 1.
Yeah.
And I'm not
Yeah.
trying to be like, oh, I'm trying to top you with my
No,
number
yeah.
1. It's just my
Yeah.
personal preference.
No, yeah.
But my number 2 is Get Out, dude.
Yeah.
Jordan Peele is on some shit, dude.
Yeah.
Man, this movie is so good. I love Get Out. It is so
Dude.
thought provoking.
Daniel Kaluuya as the main character, like he's
Oh my
he's
gosh.
great, and he's a Nope too.
He's
Yeah.
also
Yeah, he's very
in
well.
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Plays
Hobie Brown.
Hobie Brown, bro,
Yeah.
Spider-Punk.
Yeah.
Like he is so dope, dude.
Yeah.
He's a great actor,
Mm-hmm.
and him playing the main character in Get Out, it's just phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
And just the experience he goes through with that family and that house and how corrupt they are, and then everything. What Jordan Peele is trying to say with everything that's going on there is just insane.
Yeah.
We could sit here and talk for another hour if we try
Yeah.
to depict what that movie is saying in
Yeah.
whole. You know what I mean?
Very true.
Fantastic movie. So Get Out is my number 2. Number 1. Man, I love this movie. And so, I mean, I would call this a horror movie. I think you guys would agree.
Oh yeah.
Number 1 is A Quiet Place.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh,
That's a horror movie.
dude. Part 1 and 2. Both fire movies.
Great movies.
For me, part 1, I mean, John Krasinski is such a great actor, and he directed that movie.
That's crazy.
That's what's crazy.
That's really
What's
cool.
crazy. That says a lot about him and how talented he is.
Mhm.
He's one of our favorite guys on sitcom TV. He played Jim in The Office. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Him and his wife played the 2 main protagonists in that movie.
No, that's his actual wife.
That's it. Emily Blunt is his wife.
Oh, I did not know
She
that.
like kept her last name because she was an actress before they got married.
Yeah.
But Emily Blunt is his wife.
Huh.
So they play a husband and a wife in that movie with kids, and one of them's deaf, and then the whole premise of the movie
Yeah,
is
oh
like
my
3
God.
kids.
three kids.
They do it,
Three
yeah,
kids.
yeah,
Well, they
yeah.
have a baby.
That
She-
seems
she's-
intense.
That's
That's the opening scene.
Oh my gosh!
The-
Is that the opening scene?
I
in the
think it's
first
a little bit later when she gives birth in the bathtub.
Yes, it is. It is.
That's
She's
like
in the
when-
bathtub.
Oh,
Later
you're
in the
right,
movie.
You're right.
Yeah.
Later in the movie, yeah.
But no,
Yeah, you're right.
no, I know what you're talking about though. We've all seen it. Yeah.
Bo.
There is a third kid that an alien kills because they make noise. The kid lights the
They
rocket
had
ship.
3, and that was the opening
They
scene.
had
right,
3.
and they have that cross where he died at.
Mm.
That is correct.
Because the deaf girl gave him the batteries because she felt bad.
The rocket ship.
And he
So they
put
have a
it on
total
her.
of 4. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was a crazy scene.
That
That
is
was
a
the very beginning.
That
you're
was
right.
that was the beginning. That's not what I was thinking of when you were saying that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
dude, that movie. Oh my gosh.
Very good.
So the aliens like they attack off sound,
Mhm.
and they're just freaking monsters. And dude, the end when she has that shotgun and that the deaf girl's putting her thing to the radio wave,
Yeah.
and it's like, and it's really messing with them, and
Yeah.
she's just like, oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
it's like she's like, "Come with me," and then it cuts to
Yeah.
black and like.
Yeah, dude, it's like, let's go.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? It gets you so pumped, and just how that
Five
movie
Place Part
is.
2 is really good too.
And part 2 is amazing, and then
Yeah.
it gets like it's
The
like
part 2 is kind of like the backstory,
Yeah.
then it jumps forward.
Yeah.
it's a prequel and a
That-
sequel.
That
Yeah.
opening
Yeah.
scene in part 2 of how it happened.
When they're at the baseball field.
It's one
Yeah.
of the best opening scenes.
Oh,
in the
yeah,
movie.
dude, it's
like it's
great.
so good.
It's
Yeah, like
great.
they're all playing baseball and
Shit
everybody
pops
just
off.
slowly looks and there's just this giant crater falling.
yeah.
And then everybody's like grabbing their kid like, let's go home. Like everybody's kind of freaking out. And
Yeah.
then they're just walking on the street and
and they're driving home, and you see these things getting hit, and then
shit pops off.
Pops off
so
instantly,
quick.
and it's just like, what? It's crazy.
Yeah, dude.
That's
crazy.
That's a great movie.
Yeah, so I mean that's in that sense that's thought provoking too. Like, what would you do?
Oh
You know
my
what I mean?
gosh.
Like, she's like watching this thing in front of her while driving in reverse, looking in the rearview mirror, but seeing some crazy stuff going on in front of her. While she's just like, we gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
And people are getting in car accidents and then just getting slaughtered, dude. So number 1, Quiet Place.
It's a good pick.
I love that
pick.
movie.
It's a great movie.
Hannah loves that movie. It's, like I said, she doesn't handle stuff like that well, but just because of the quality of the movie, it's like, this is undeniable. Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So number 5, Sinister. Number 4 is Nightmare on Elm Street. Number 3, Nightmare on Elm Street 3. Number 3 is The Shining. Number 2, Get Out. Number 1, A Quiet Place.
Good pick.
The whole series.
Yeah, that's a good pick. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with an honorable mention, just because I love horror movies. I couldn't just narrow it down to 5. My honorable mention is gonna be Sinister.
Yeah.
Respect.
Those, I've never had a horror movie other than my number 1 give me such an unsettling feeling of watching that. It was half of that movie is a snuff film. Of watching people die.
Yeah.
And that unsettling feeling of like watching these people be murdered, and to the point of like, if you sit there and think about how people die, like somebody being hung or being burned alive, like that's what I would think is happens.
Yeah.
You know, it's so realistic that you're like, did they really kill these people? You know?
Yeah.
You know, it's like
Is
the opening scene is the family being hung, and like just, I don't know, dude. It's just so unsettling.
Yeah.
And then Bagul himself, like, popping out, living in pictures. Like, when he's looking at that picture and he sees him in the back of the garage, and he looks away, and then Bagul's kind of, like, in the picture and looks at him, bro. Like, I'm just like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
And, yeah, just that whole movie is just
that's
unsettling from the jump.
For sure, dude.
So that's my honorable mention. My number 5, Cloverfield.
Cloverfield. The first one. The first one.
The first one.
Yeah.
I love monster movies.
That's
I love monster movies, and that movie, with it being a monster movie, was one of the first films to really open up the genre of found footage.
I was about to
horror.
say that and Blair Witch are the two
Blair Witch
best.
is,
Blair Witch is a fire ass movie.
That's what's kicked it off.
Yeah, that found footage just gives it that much more kind of like realism and like scary ass effect, because it's like the viewer itself is only subjected to that camera lens.
Yeah.
And like where it goes is where you go. And it's kind of like a feeling of like out of control, and like you're just like terrified and living the experience with them.
Yeah.
Granted, like, that Cloverfield monster may be not the scariest thing in the world, but like to be at a party, chilling with your friends, and all of a sudden shit hits the fan.
It's like Godzilla, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And not only that, it opened up an entire universe of the Cloverfield world.
That's crazy.
And then they made Cloverfield Lane, something Cloverfield
10
Lane.
Cloverfield Lane came next, and that was a fantastic movie. That's more of like psychological thriller.
Yeah.
But John Goodman in that movie, great.
Yeah.
And then after that, they made the Cloverfield Paradox on Netflix that really like explained everything.
I haven't seen that.
I haven't either.
That one will fuck with your head.
Really?
Yeah, that one's a really good movie.
Also found footage?
No. That one's shot like an actual movie, like 10 Cloverfield Lane is.
Okay.
But Cloverfield, to me, is my favorite. Just I can sit down and watch that movie all the time.
I didn't.
Found footage is great.
Dude, I remember you talking about that whenever we were young. I remember seeing the trailer to that movie, and you were like, you had like an obsession from a distance with it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just something that you like definitely interests you.
It's something clicked with it.
It did, and then now in life, like, that definitely gives me insight to your interest in like back rooms, like those videos. You know what I mean? It's found footage. You know
I like the, especially when it comes to horror, I like the like strange shit.
Oh yeah.
I like the unexplainable shit.
I respect that though.
You know?
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, like the back rooms is just like,
back rooms is crazy.
because like if you think about that, it's just like the backrooms is basically like you clip through reality.
Yeah.
Kind of like in a video game when you fall through the map.
Yeah.
It's a glitch. It's not supposed to happen, but like,
Yeah.
what if that happened in real life?
Exactly.
What other reality do you go into? And like
Yeah.
in this whole universe that they've opened up on YouTube is incredible.
Yeah.
YouTube, that's what I'm telling you, dude. YouTube is the spot for like indie horror.
Yeah.
Just low budget, crazy, just like people just sitting in their house editing and creating whatever the hell comes to their mind.
Yeah.
And that horror on YouTube is crazy.
Yeah. I want to know where they film for the backroom videos.
I don't know.
Because
I don't want to go there.
it's got to be something
There's
real.
some videos on YouTube that I've seen that like show, because they're liminal spaces is what they call them.
Yeah.
And it's just like spaces that feel familiar yet strange at the same
Like,
time. So it's very
surreal.
unsettling. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very
Yeah.
unsettling because you feel like I know but don't know where the fuck I am and I
Yeah.
don't know how to get out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Backrooms is a trippy idea. Like
Yeah.
it's
Trippy.
very just.
It is strange.
It's unsettling.
It's
It's
a-
off kiltering. And
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a rabbit hole for sure if you don't know what
that
the
would be a
backrooms are.
very good movie if that was made well.
Yeah.
It's well on its way to being one.
Yeah,
I
I heard.
believe that.
I heard they just dropped a video game for it or something.
Yeah.
I heard something.
It's like
that.
PC game.
Yeah.
PC game.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
definitely an indie game, but it's like I'm sure that's done well.
I'm sure that's crazy.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
I just
Yeah.
walking
Yeah, but if
through-
you haven't heard of the backrooms, go check that out.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
type in the backrooms on YouTube and
Yes.
thank me later.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that's my number 5.
Yeah.
Cloverfield.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
My number 4. And yeah, I'm pretty certain about this one is Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh
Wow.
my god.
Which-
dude,
which
that's
one?
great pick.
The remake.
The one with Jessica Biel in it?
Yes.
Okay, like 2000,
Oh,
2000
okay.
2001.
Okay, interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I had
the,
that on VHS.
the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That was one that would. It was one of those ones where, like, you know, when you were younger and your parents had the TV channels that went up in like the 500s or something, and you would turn it on and
In the
you
middle
would be
of the night.
scrolling through it trying to find a movie, and you see that, and you're like, "Do I have the balls this time to watch this movie?"
Yeah,
And you
dude.
turn it
Same
on, but
exact
yeah,
movies.
dude, that movie is terrifying. I
Yeah,
mean,
it
just the. Honestly, I feel like the family itself is more terrifying than the actual slasher Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
It is.
That's
The
how,
family,
yeah,
the
I
sheriff,
agree.
is so backwoods.
Yeah.
They're all in it together.
They're
You
messed
know,
up.
They're just messed
eating
up in the middle of
people's-
small town Texas, and it's just like you break down on some road in the middle of nowhere, and then
Yeah.
you just so happen to get ingrained with this crooked ass sheriff that tells you the wrong way to go
Yeah.
and brings you right back to where he wants you to be.
Oh my gosh,
And
dude.
it's just terrifying. The way he just knocks them off one by one. The brutality of all of it, dude. Just
Yeah.
like,
Rough.
he picks that dude up and puts him on a butcher hook.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's,
dude.
dude, it's
Oh my
oh,
god,
gosh.
dude. And she has to get him off. And
Is
it's
he,
just,
is he not alive during that
he's
time?
alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he's still alive when she pulls him off.
Yeah.
Because he's sitting there like hanging on the butcher hook. And she thinks he's dead, and he's like, "Help me!" And he's just like, "Dude,
Oh,
God, that is
original,
such a
dude,
brutal."
the original's rough.
Yeah, and it's like found footage at the beginning and the end, isn't
Yeah,
there?
yeah, kind of, yeah.
and, like they go to that house.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
And just like-
remade that.
They have. So
I heard the latest remake.
Mhm.
I think it was on Netflix. I heard it wasn't too good.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know.
But
But-
just the middle remake.
Yeah.
The one early 2000s was just, oh my god, just
Yeah.
terrifying. Putting a chainsaw on somebody's back is just.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
like, he's
Yeah.
on top of the van when they're trying to hide from him, and he's sticking the chainsaw through the roof, and she's like, "Fuck it, I'm running for it," and she runs, and then for some reason, there's a pipe in the middle of a field, and she kicks the shit out of it and falls, and she's just laying on the ground, and he just like walks over to her real slow, looks back at the girl in the van, and just. Just right in her back, dude, and something about a chainsaw too.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
You know what I
The
mean?
corn mazes and
Yeah,
there's a chainsaw.
always a chainsaw in a corn maze just because it's just so loud and just like throws
Out
your
in the middle
brain
of
for a loop.
nowhere.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my number 4 is Texas Chainsaw
Good.
Massacre.
That's good.
Yeah.
My number 3 is Nope.
Nope.
Nope is a
Great.
fantastic movie.
Great.
Great.
And
movie.
if you can't tell, like, yeah, I definitely love like monster movies. I
Mhm.
just for some reason
Yeah.
they just scratch an itch that I have.
Yeah.
But Nope was a fantastic movie. Just a different take on UFOs. And a different take on like what you were talking about earlier is like spectacles.
Very,
what
very
it's
good
really
point.
what it's really saying in that movie is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Peele as a director took the horror genre by storm and
Yeah.
just doing it like he has been doing it for 40 years.
Yeah.
You know, like he's so seasoned. But yeah, Nope is my number 3. That's a fantastic movie.
Mhm.
Yeah.
My number 2 is Prometheus.
Okay.
Good.
I don't know if you really consider that a horror movie. I do, just because of the universe that it's in. It's kind of in the Alien Predator universe.
Yeah.
But Prometheus, dude. The whole search for where mankind came from and them finding it in the universe, visiting that planet, just to find out that humans were actually a mistake and cast
Yeah.
off.
That's crazy. I need to work do this
And-
for a minute.
They've actually just awoken the one thing that is supposed to end humanity by searching for the beginning of humanity is just like a crazy fucking like mind fuck.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I could sit there and watch that movie over and over and over again. It is so cool. And plus I love space. I love like the thought of like space travel and like other sort of species and everything. So like Prometheus really kicked off like the Alien universe
Yeah.
and everything. So, and that's such a great franchise. So it's a precursor to all that. So I had to give credit to the OG of like Prometheus. Granted, it wasn't made first.
It was. When did that come out?
Prometheus was like 2012, 2013.
Was that the one that?
Michael Fassbender, Ridley Scott made it.
Yeah, Ridley
He's
Scott
the guy
made
who
it.
made the first Alien. He made Blade Runner. And he
Yeah.
also made Gladiator.
Yeah.
Did he make Dune too?
No,
No.
no. Denis Villeneuve did that, and Dave Lynch did a version of Dune.
David Lynch?
Yeah.
The same guy. Okay.
But
Is Prometheus the one with Donald Glover in it? What movie is that? The horror movie with him. Do you know what movie I'm
with
talking
Josh Gambino?
about? Yeah. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I
Where they're in
think so.
space?
Yeah, I think so, but I don't know.
Gosh.
I don't think he's in
I don't know.
Prometheus.
Oh my gosh.
I doubt he's in Prometheus.
I hate to even
Maybe he
ask
might
that.
be.
I hate to ask that question and not know the answer to it. Comment below if you know what horror movie I'm talking about that Donald Glover has been in, that has been recently around the time that maybe came out in like 2017, 2018, maybe 2016 when we were in high school.
Dude, I have no idea.
There's
He
a
was in The Lazarus Effect.
The Lazarus Effect.
That's not in space though.
Okay, maybe it's not. They're
But
on
that movie is fucked.
They're on something.
They're in a compound.
They're in a compound. It's something
Like
like that.
the
Yeah.
very like sub level of a compound. That
Yeah.
movie's fucked.
Yeah.
Huh.
They bring that woman back to life because like in the Bible Lazarus was brought back to life and everything like that. So
yeah,
that was
okay.
they were like doing experiments on it
Huh.
and they brought this woman back to life, but her soul went to hell instead of heaven. So when she
Oh.
came back, she was not the same.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
What?
And Donald Glover's in that and he gets fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. I have not seen it, but I remember being like, what in the world? You know,
It
that sounds
was,
crazy.
it was like a B-rated movie, but it was on the verge of being like in theaters.
Yeah.
Dang.
It was a good movie.
I would like to watch that
Huh.
movie. Yeah.
So yeah, that's my number 2 is Prometheus. My number 1 has, it still terrifies me to this day. If I go watch it right now, I'm not sleeping tonight. I can't. The two directors that came together to make this movie are both icons in horror, and just everything from the music to the cinematography to the noises is just unsettling. But my number 1 is Insidious.
I knew
Oh
it!
my
I knew it!
Great.
Dude.
Oh, man.
Insidious.
Yeah, dude.
From the moment you start out, from the time you finish that movie, you are fucking terrified.
Yeah.
That's a
dude,
great
that's a
movie.
scary
Terrifying.
movie. That's a
And it's just
scary
like
movie.
so like everything's so quiet and loud and then quiet and loud and it's
Yeah.
just like you don't know what to feel. And it's
Yeah.
Guillermo del Toro and James Wan.
Yeah.
And they came together
Wow.
and made a fantastic movie.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, I forgot Guillermo del Toro had a say-so in that film. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's wild.
He's had a lot. And he's an
Wow.
actor, too.
Yeah.
You know what
and
I mean?
that movie.
Oh,
dude,
yeah, I'm thinking-
two minds of horror coming together
Is it
to just.
Benicio?
You're thinking of Benicio del
Guillermo
Toro.
del Toro is the guy who made like Pan's Labyrinth. He's
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. You're thinking of Benicio
Yeah,
del
he
Toro.
made Nightmare Alley. I saw that on
Yeah.
Smuggle.
Yeah,
Great
but
guy.
those two guys coming together to make that movie is fucking incredible.
Yeah.
And I won't watch it.
Is that Blumhouse?
Yeah.
Is that
It's in
Blumhouse?
the Conjuring print, like
Yeah, dude,
universe.
that's what I was
Yeah,
about to say.
because it's Ed and Lorraine Warren, I think, is a
Mhm.
part of that somehow. But yeah, that dude, the first one is what I'm talking about. The other ones are pretty good, but the first one with the the red-faced demon, and just the way he like pops up and like you know he's coming, but you don't know when, and it still scares you when he comes out.
Darth Maul, dude.
Yeah,
That's what it looks like.
The cracking, the violins, dude.
The
Man, I need to
picture,
rewatch.
the picture, the photo that they're looking at in that movie of the woman,
Oh, the woman in black.
and then her hair starts moving, and it's like, do you know what I'm talking about? At
Yeah.
the end of the movie,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, dude, that movie is great, but terrifying.
Yeah, it is a terrifying movie. So yeah, that's my honorable mention is gonna be Sinister. My number 5 is gonna be Cloverfield. My number 4 is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Number 3 is Nope. My number 2 is Prometheus, and my number 1 is Insidious.
Dude,
That's
what a great... Like, that is the most unique list I've heard. Like, that's a great list.
Yeah.
That's a
that.
great list,
Yeah, dude,
really.
that was fantastic.
That makes me feel really
Dude,
good.
you said, like, four movies that I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even
Yeah.
think about that. Yeah, that's a great
Do we
list.
want to
Wow.
take like maybe 2 or 3 minutes to just rattle off some honorable mentions? Like just
Gosh,
I mean, yeah, we
there's
could.
so many.
okay, like
Hereditary.
Hereditary.
Midsommar.
Yeah.
I don't want to say Halloween, Friday the 13th, Amityville Horror, It.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Conjuring. All of those movies
Yeah.
are. If
Predator.
Predator.
Mm-hmm.
There's a movie that really stuck with my soul forever, and it's the remake, not the original, but it's called I Spit on Your Grave.
Oh my
Oh, dude,
god,
that movie's
dude,
so
what?
messed up.
Oh my gosh.
That movie's so messed up.
Ah.
That's almost just like a gore film.
Yeah.
That's not even like horror. That's just gore.
It
That's
is
like
go-
human
there's-
centipede
there's-
type stuff.
that
like,
is like human centipede
like
type stuff.
you
Yeah.
can't even watch
So-
it really.
Honorable mention, human centipede. the new but the second I Spit on Your Grave tarnished my soul for real. Like I was like, I'm not the same
Oh.
after watching this movie.
Oh.
Some of the event, if you're into stuff like that really mess you up psychologically, because I legit was not the
Yeah.
same person after seeing that movie. The second I Spit on Your Grave, dude, it's such a horrible movie.
Yeah.
You know what I
Oh,
mean?
dude, I know
Yeah.
those movies are terrible. And I mean, me talking about like monster movies and stuff. Like I even left out my favorite genre, which is zombies. So you got like Dawn of the Dead,
Dawn of the Dead,
Oh,
World War
yeah.
Z.
World War Z,
I mean, those are both
Yeah.
great movies.
Night of the Living Dead.
I didn't.
OG.
I've never seen that.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the OG.
But I mean, Dawn of the Dead was one of those movies where it's like, okay, so they run.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, it's like
Yeah.
that's a different twist
Yeah,
that
yeah.
I don't want to see.
yeah.
And I mean, even going back further than that is like 28 Days Later.
Yeah.
Oh, Cillian Murphy.
Yeah.
Bruh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Great
Yeah,
movie.
28 Days Later and 28 Weeks later.
later.
Because
Yeah,
28 Weeks
So
Later
make-
is such a realistic horror movie because humans are that stupid.
Yeah.
Humans are
No,
being
dude.
like, oh, no, we got it. You can send them back into where all these people just died.
You know what they
And then it
just
starts
announced?
again.
28 years later.
No way.
They just announced that because Cillian Murphy's popping off with Oppenheimer.
Oh,
28
dude.
years later, coming out, think next year.
That'll be, oh god.
Crazy.
Those movies are great.
Crazy.
And two, I like the idea of like how realistic those are too, because like Dawn of the Dead was like a legit zombie virus. Like
Yeah.
it made people zombies. But if you go into like World War Z and like 28 Days Later and stuff, it's a rabies virus. And
yeah, that's very
if
true.
there is any disease out there that is capable
Dude,
of
I didn't-
causing
yeah,
that,
that's very true.
scientists think rabies could really do it.
Wow.
Wow.
Because the only objective of an animal with rabies is to attack and bite to spread it.
That's true.
That's crazy.
Not even just to eat somebody like a zombie, eat their brains or whatever. It's like just to bite
spread it.
and
Yeah.
spread the disease.
Yeah.
And
And
that's
they're afraid
fucking terrifying.
If you have
Yeah.
like rabies, you can't drink water. You're like afraid of water.
Hydrophobic, yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, dude.
Dude.
That's crazy.
Pet Cemetery. Sorry, that one
Ooh,
popped up.
That's a good one.
Pet
too,
Cemetery is a
Pet
good one.
Cemetery.
The first one.
Yeah.
Oh,
no.
my gosh, dude. When that little woman is like walking
He's
around
like-
the bed.
Yeah, just like the dream scene. He's like,
Yes, the dream
yeah,
scene.
yeah, that's weird.
That sticks with me to this day.
That was a man who played that woman on the bed too.
Really?
It was a man.
Really?
That's why.
Oh my
That's what's like yeah.
gosh, dude. Oh my gosh.
Psycho. Have y'all seen that?
No, that's the OG
Alfred
slasher film.
Hitchcock.
Yeah, that's the OG
Yeah,
slasher
that's a
film.
great
That
film.
was the. That's what that originated from.
Yeah, man.
That's what Bates Motel started from.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's Psycho.
American Psycho.
Maybe
Kinda horror
may-
film?
maybe American.
Kinda?
Yeah.
I liked it. Very
yeah,
great.
Hellraiser. Gosh, dude,
They're making a remake of that one.
Are they really?
Mm-hmm.
Hellraiser.
I think. I mean, there's so much, dude. There's so many horror
Chucky.
films.
Chucky, dude, I know that one used to
I
used
hate
to mess
Chucky,
with you.
dude. I still hate Chucky.
Yeah.
I can't, dude. There's something about things that are inhuman that act and look human,
Yeah.
move humanly.
I feel
Yeah.
that.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
It is just I don't like it out.
Yeah.
Like whenever you see Chucky like move and move fast and like blink, I don't like it. Like, have you all ever seen what's that movie that the creators of South Park made? The American Team America. You know where they're the marionette puppets?
Yes. Yeah.
Freaks me the fuck out.
Really?
I can't watch it.
Is that like is it a funny movie?
It's stupid. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
fun.
okay, I
it's
know what you're
very
talking about.
funny. It's very funny.
That movie's
Or like,
stupid.
But the way their faces move
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
they like
it's off kilter.
it is just like unnaturally
It doesn't-
natural,
yeah.
and I don't
Yeah.
like it. It
Or-
just fucks with me.
What movie is it? Is it Small Soldiers?
I fucking hate that movie.
That movie is actually kind of scary.
Yeah.
That movie has some like horror elements in it.
Well, they're trying to kill people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The bad guys are
The G.I. Joes
the-
are trying to kill the people, and like the space
aliens
people. Yeah,
are
the
the one-
aliens are
yeah,
ones.
are the good people.
Yeah, no, like when he
Huh.
stabs that kid's hand,
Yes.
fucks me up.
Dude, it's weird.
He's like, ha ha ha, and I'm like, no.
yeah.
Fuck this.
Dude, oh man,
Yeah.
that movie's so strange. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something about that like unnatural, like trying to make it look real movement just fucks with me hard.
Dude, I had you remember those things? Do you remember those like things you looked through, and then you put a little circle
And you click
thing
it.
with and click it?
Oh.
I had two. One of the ones I had was Toy Story. The second one I had was of Small Soldiers.
Ew.
And like looking through that gave me such weird vibes. Clicking through that thing.
That's a weird. That's a weird
That
movie.
that gives me weird
The one
vibes.
at Momo's?
The one at Mama's.
Yeah, dude. I
Yes.
remember clicking
Yeah,
through
dude.
the same thing.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Have y'all seen It Follows?
I've heard of it, but I've
It
never watched
Follows.
it.
Oh man, y'all need to check that out.
Have y'all
Dude,
heard
in
of?
every frame, you just see like the main character. You just see a different person follow them. You see a different person follow them, and whatever it is just around them. the
That's
whole time.
crazy.
You just see him lingering in a shot, and it's just like
Yeah.
it's just one of those movies, bro. It's like
I've heard there's this movie out there with a clown in it called The Terrifier.
That movie's fucked.
that's like it's like
Is it
spit
gore?
on your grave type stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's like that.
That bro, he saws a woman in half,
Really?
Yeah, and you see
and
it.
you see everything.
Really?
Like
Yeah.
he strings her up upside down with her legs spread apart,
Oh, and that's how he does it.
and he saws her in half in front of her friend.
Yeah, you don't.
Don't watch that movie.
I've heard that I've heard about that movie.
That movie's disgusting.
I don't
Yeah.
know why. Like, I'm sorry to any other filmmaker. I mean, if that's your thing, that's cool. But what is the point of making something like
The
that?
Terrifier
like
or Human Centipede.
it's like
I'll spit on your
what-
grave.
And
Yeah.
what person was like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Here's $5 million to make that.
Yeah.
There's some sick people out there, dude. Shout out the gang. There's some sick people out there. There's some sick people out there,
No, you're very right. But
dude. You know, some people like that stuff and like think it's cool.
some people find it very interesting. I know people who are just like,
Yeah.
this movie is very interesting.
Yeah.
It
And it's
does.
just terrible.
It does kind of like pique your interest enough to watch it.
Curiosity.
Curiosity killed the cat,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it definitely tarnished your soul.
Yeah.
You know, because like you should have never watched that movie. And
Yeah.
I've definitely the reason I know about Terrifier, I've never watched the movie, but
Me
I've
neither.
watched a YouTube video on like how fucked up it is,
Yeah.
and you know all the scenes. Obviously they're blurred out because it's YouTube, but still, it's like the shit that he does in that movie is just
Gives you the idea.
ungodly. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, fellas,
Yeah.
this has been a hell of a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
JD, appreciate you coming on,
Dude,
dude.
thank you guys for having me.
Yeah.
For sure. I've
absolutely.
had a blast.
And before we close this out, is there anything that you want to promote?
Well, movie's coming out soon. As of today, August 10th. Tomorrow's August 11th. I was supposed to have a movie premiere showing the whole movie, but I'm only gonna show like a first little 30 minutes of it. Just taking time, like we were talking about earlier, just taking my time, wanting to wrap it up better and whatnot. but that's coming very soon. So stay tuned. Follow the Teenage Angst Movie Instagram page and subscribe to OTR for sure.
Yes,
Kind of blast. Great conversations. Thank you guys for having me. Older brother and older brother's best friend I've known my whole life. For sure,
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
But yeah, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this episode. Make sure you go down below, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And we'll see you guys in the next one.
Yeah.
Give them the peace, bro.
Yes, sir. Oh, man, it was a pleasure, guys. All right, we're out of here. Peace.
Bro, that's off the rip.